Yeah, alright everyone, it's Paul here, and I'm just doing this video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time actually, just showing a lot of you how I did my weathering effect on my Millennium Falcon model. Now, in case you don't know what weathering means, it's basically making your model, such as this for example, look, a bit worn, battered, dirty, grimy, burnt, you get the idea. Make it look like the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, as it's said in the film, even though I don't think it's junk. But anyway, a lot of people that do a weathering effect on their Falcons use a technique called airbrushing. And now, I'm not saying it's a bad effect. It actually looks really, really good, really nice. But it's not a cheap thing to just go out and buy, and then you've got to learn how to use it and blah blah blah. And I've always wanted to try and find ways of making models in a way that everyone can afford and do, without going to extreme costs and things. So anyway, let's get on with it. In this case, if you can see, just up close, it's all my fault. You can see all this smudged blackness, like it's really dirty and whatnot. Like it's been about a bit. And then you got this effect here where the vents are, where it looks like it's had extreme heat coming out of them, and like on the model you'd see in the movies, it's got this black streaks going from each of these vents, as I've tried to do here, just to make it look like extreme heat's burnt it a bit. And the way I did that, and all this griminess and whatnot, let's get a close up of the radar dish. Is I used charcoal, because it is dirty when it gets on your hand. It's what happens when you burn stuff, it turns to a charcoal essentially, and it gets everywhere. And I thought, well, charcoal has a really natural look and feel to it, and that's what I've used. So I got all these different kinds. Like you got these really thick ones, the ones you can sharpen into pencil, all these random different sizes, and different coloured charcoals, pencil crayons, and that's what I basically used, because anyone can get these from any art shop, arts and crafts shop. For me, I got these from the range, and I'll just quickly give you an example on how I used these on mine. Now, for let's say in between these cracks and on the hull here, I got one of these, and let's say, let's find a good spot. Let's say down here, and I'll just get this, put a bit of pressure on, go in between all these cracks and stuff like that. Just go a bit messy, and then I'd get a paintbrush, a dry paintbrush, and just do that. Spread the muck about a bit and make sure it gets in between the cracks. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it does make a difference. And if you keep doing that, eventually it gets everywhere, and you get this nice dirty hull smudged look effect. And that's what I did all over. And also, but when it came to the burnt effect on the end of the back here, I did pretty much the same effect. Got a lot of charcoal, went really on there and used a brush. But if I remember correctly, I actually wet either my finger or the brush, depending, and I went over it, so it made it look a bit more smudged and a bit more grimy, a bit darker, and it actually has stuck down quite well. I didn't use glue, just the technique I mentioned, wet the brush or finger and just do that until I was happy with it, and you get this. And it might come off a bit with a bit of elbow grease or a wet cloth, but not very well. So it really looks like it's burnt and it's stuck on, and it's hard to get off the hull. So that's how I did that effect. And as I said, it's all just with charcoal, stuff that anyone can get. And this thing, there we go, it's focusing. And see if we can get more close-ups of the hull. I would show how I did the effect on there, wetting the brush on my finger, but I've got really nowhere else to do that effect on, to be honest. Tell a lie, there's that little bit. Let's try it. So if we is on a very like wobbly stand. Just get in there. Just wet the end of this brush. Okay. And if you can see, it's starting to give a weird sort of streaky effect, but it is filling it in, you know, with that black, as you can see. And I just kept doing that over and over, keep doing this, add more charcoal, do that again, maybe use a dryer brush and do it, maybe use my finger, and just eventually you just keep doing this sort of stuff, spreading it out in various ways, from wet brush, dry brush, finger, wet finger, whatever, and eventually that will fill in and look like the rest of this. You know, it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. I mean, this isn't exactly straight. I mean, as you can see, it's all a bit over the place, sticking out here and that. But from a distance, you want it to look fairly, you know, kind of straight, because that's how it looks on the model, you know, so it looks like the burn effect's gone straight from the vents straight here, and you get the idea. So that's how I basically did that effect for the burnt bit, and the other effect for the hull, and eventually, whenever I get round to it, you think I would have by now, I'm going to be adding, like, you know, the rust effect around it. So I'll be adding like random like streaks and whatnot, you know, to make it look all rusty as well. Look at reference photos of the prop, stuff like that, to go as accurate as you can. And that's where these would come in when I get round to it. Again, charcoal. And that'll be the one here, obviously, that I'm going to be using for the rust. And again, when I get round to it, I'll just be doing like streaks. So let's get. So let's say this is one of the colour ones, I'll just be finding random bits and just, you know, streaks like that, and maybe smudge it slightly or whatnot. That's just an example. You know, and eventually it should turn out really nicely. So that's me just showing you how I basically did that, this dirty effect and whatnot, the weathering. Like I say, it's cheap and affordable for everyone to do. And next I'll show you how I did the engines. Now, if you saw this one video I uploaded of my model, I showed a video just quickly showing the glowing of the engines, but I never showed off the paint I bought. So you got this plastic bit here, and behind there is just simple white card that I've stuck behind, and I painted this glow paint, which I bought from eBay. And at night, if you see the other video I uploaded some months ago, you'll see how good this stuff glows. But since getting this stuff and applying it there, I have seen some on eBay which look like they would glow a lot brighter, longer, better, but I haven't bought that yet. But as a start, this didn't cost too much money, and it's a good start off. And I just painted it on this white card and stuck it there, and then the plastic stuff over the top, and at night it glows really nicely. And so that's how I did that. Because again, I could have got lights, but it was like finding the right type, and then it's obviously a lot of money, and then, you know, it gets all fiddly. And then once it's stuck down, I've got like that much room. I can't take anything off. Oh, I can take this bit off, but that's where all the interior is. Otherwise, I ain't got much room to get in and put a switch, and if anything needed changing, like a bulb, oh, it'd just be hassle. You know, and I was trying to think of just a cheap way that I or anyone could do to make these engines come to life, and that's what I did, glow paint. Anyway, waffling on and moving on. When I first had this, someone had already tried to paint it, and I will say it was a very bad paint job, and I had to remove it, and I got this stuff, and it's exactly what it says on the bottle. And I tell you, this stuff is bloody good. You just put it on a paintbrush, spread it all over the area, and then well, it says it all on the back there, but you just spread it all over the area, and then you just like try and scrub the paint off. And I tell you, it works wonders, that stuff, and it didn't cost a lot. And again, I got it from eBay, Actually, I'll show you the bottle again in case any of you want to write down any details. Okay, and I tell you that, and it also works wonders on cleaning your paintbrushes, because I did it with that to get paint off, and I tell you, it worked wonders on that. It's bloody good stuff. I recommend it. I really do. So that's what I use, and also as for the hull colour, as you can see, it's like this off-white. Now I watched this video, I've forgotten the man's name. I think it's something Demzo, and he works for D'Agostini now, and they did that Millennium Falcon that you could collect each week and build like a massive replica. And he worked with them, and he's actually worked on the original prop, well, seen the original prop and took details. And I watched the video with him, and he said the hull colour, the best paint you can get for the Falcon colour for the hull is a paint from a company called Tamiya, and it's a funny word to spell. I think it's Tamiya, Tamiya. I think that's how you spell it. It's a funny name, and the colour is called Insignia White. And if any of you want the code for that, just remember this: company is Tamiya, the colour is Insignia White, and the code for that paint is AS20. I'll say it again, AS20. If you find Tamiya Insignia White AS20, you've got the right bang on colour for the whole colouring of the hull. So just keep that in mind. I had a bit of trouble finding it at first, but then I went to a town called Worcester, not far from me really, and I met a bloke who worked for the company, and he told me where to get it from. Sad thing is I've forgotten the place he told me, but just type it in online, I'm sure you'll find somewhere to get it from. And the spray cans are not that big, so you, depending on the size of Falcon model you have, you're gonna probably need quite a few cans. Because you got to remember, you got to do this whole top section, you got to do the little sections, you got to do underneath, and you need quite a few cans. It's not the cheapest stuff, but it does work wonders, and it does come off with a, you can like spray a bit like, I think warm water, the bloke said, or even that stuff I showed you, and it comes off easy. It's great stuff. So I recommend that. And I think that's basically it. I just wanted to show you how I did the weathering effect and stuff in a more affordable, cheap way that I hope will help all of you. And if you do try any of these methods that I've just showed you, then please say in the comments if it's worked for you. It'd be nice to know. But if you do try it, good luck with it. Let me know. And if you want me to do anything else on my Falcon model, like another video, do you want to, like, I don't know, see more of the interior up close, or you want to know the paints I used and whatever, just say in the comments, and I'll do a video of whatever it is you want to know. I will quickly say, with this model, it's a rare 1996 model kit, and the cockpit, the back wall inside wasn't the right back wall. It was actually, it was actually looks like something that would belong in a submarine kit. And I don't know if you can see it, but I had to take that back wall, put a bit of card over the top, and I've had to draw the back wall myself with the door and that. It's not the greatest job because it's bloody tiny, but if I can just quickly show you before I say bye, you might be able to just see it in the background. The door, just did a rough back wall just to make it look a bit more authentic as best as I could. And also, it never came with a cockpit control, so I took random bits that I didn't use on this model that came with it and built a rough cockpit control there for the seats. Yeah, it's a bit dusty in there, but there you go. Oh, there's a bit more grimy effect there for you. But anyway, like I was saying, this is basically what I wanted to show you all. If you want me to do anything else on this model video wise that you want to know, say in the comments, and I hope this technique I've shown you that I've done helps you out as well. Thanks for watching, take care, and see you later.